Yes, I wanted to talk about the Tron Ares movie. I'm doing a review on Tron Ares. This is Twisted Reviews. And like I said before, what we do when we have Twisted Reviews, we get twisted. Got a little something to relax the mind. But, long story short, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the story picks up with Jay Leno. Jared Leto. Jared Leto, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Jared Leto. I get their names butchered up all the time. But Jared Leto, um, there he is in a security system. He is a program which is a security system, and his job is pretty much just laying down security, or pretty much his job is laying down security, but it's also doing whatever the Dillinger offspring, the new generation of Dillinger offspring. It also depends on what he wants Ares to do. Ares essentially finds out that he's a program inside of a game, or just in general just a program, and in one instant where they're trying to figure out how to bring the game world or the protective world, because it has so many different qualifications, like you have weapons, technology, uh vehicles, motorcycles, flying devices. Like, there's so much stuff that's in the Tron world that could be used in the real world and pretty much have like a complete takeover. But long story short, one of the times that Ares comes to the human world, and their trial for any kind of device coming into the human world is only like 29 minutes. But in that 29 minutes, he gets to experience rain. He gets to experience rain, and it kind of just sets himself up. It already kind of shows that he's going to be different from everybody else. So essentially, he feels rain for the first time, and it registers as an unknown sensation. So he's more curious about his world. He's more curious about his world. He's more curious about the outside world. And also, he's starting to have like certain issues, like with following his objective. The dude Dillinger, he will give him objectives, give him jobs to do. And sometimes after a while, it shows that Ares is starting to think about it like, do I really want to do that? And so at some point in time, we transition into Eve Kim, who is I'm not sure what she is, but she dabbles with the electronic technological world. And her sister, who used to do the same stuff, her younger sister, who used to do the same stuff, had died from some disease, and pretty much Eve Kim wants to she wants to continue her sister's work. So in that process of following her sister's work or continuing her sister's work, there's a thing called the permanence code. Like I said earlier, everything that had been brought to the human world from the Tron world, it only lasts about 29 minutes. The permanence code is a way for things to exist outside of the Tron world and into the real world, and it lasts extended amount of time, extended periods of time. So once it comes to the conclusion, comes to the idea that this is a real thing, that there actually is a permanence code, you have Dillinger, you have the people that Eve Kim works for, you have the people inside Tron, well, really just Ares and his fellow minions, that are actually concerned with the permanence code, because that's a way that they can actually live life. Like, they don't have to worry about coming to this world and only being here for 29 minutes before they disintegrate into like little small little tiny blocks. They can actually live, outside of the world that they live in, or the Tron world. They can actually live. So it was just that whole idea. And I love that they brought back Sam Flynn, because in the process, of course, really what it comes down to is trying to figure out if there is such thing as a permanence code, finds out that there is a permanence code. The dude Dillinger is trying to get the permanence code from Kim, but in that process, Kim avoids everybody. She's kind of badass, honestly. She's kind of dope. She avoids the people. She doesn't get caught, but then she makes a deal with Ares to bring him to life, because they ended up shooting her with some kind of laser that transported her into the Tron world. So the same world that after 29 minutes Ares goes back to, boom, now she got sent there. Kim got sent there. And what they're trying to do is, even though she deleted the USB drive that had the permanence code on it, because of the fact that she's seen it, she knows it, she's seen it, because with that alone, that's enough that if they put her through like some kind of simulation, some kind of device, they'll be able to get that from her, but she would no longer be living. It would kill her in the process. In order to get that, they would have to kill her. Once they got that information, it would delete the carrier. It would delete her. So Ares decides that that's not what he's going to do. He's not with that. And honestly, it makes you think whether he was doing that to save her life, or if he was doing that so that he could, essentially try to set up this deal so that he could have one. But long story short, they set up a deal and they get brought back to the real world. From there, that's where the 29 minutes, the countdown starts, because, the permanence code hasn't been found yet. So Ares has 29 minutes to help Eve get to this older computer, which is Sam Flynn's computer, help him get to said computer, or help her get to said computer, so that she can pull up the permanence code, or at least download something and send Ares into that game or that program in order to get the permanence code. In the process, you have the lady that played on the Acolyte, that was the witches, that was like the queen of the witches people. Like, she was the taller black lady with the locks. She had the two daughters and whatnot. She plays in this movie. She plays Athena. And Athena, for the most part, they're all outside of Ares or the random few people that, have some kind of self-respect. For the most part, everybody just follows orders. You know what I mean? So Athena was just following orders. And she's trying to figure out what she did wrong, that at the end of the movie, she's the one that's dying, in comparison to somebody like Ares, who, now that he's not a program anymore, if he get killed right here, that's it. Ain't no going back to ain't no reboot stage. Dude, if you get killed here, that's it. This is welcome to the real world, mom. Welcome to the real world, motherfucker. Like dead ass. So, but all in all, Athena starts to take a little bit of power. She gets a little power crazy, because for the most part, Dillinger makes her the new head program in charge. And he tells her, by any means necessary, you have to get this done. And she takes that and totally runs with it. So Dillinger's mom is actually trying to shut down the whole program and make sure that, nobody from that program can come to the real world. Athena takes a little off her back, stabs it into her, and says, tells Dillinger, tells him that she was just following orders by any means necessary, and that impediments or something, pretty much any distractions or anything that might cause her to not successfully finish her mission. And at that time, it was his mom. But then she looks at him, and it's like, are there scanning for any further impediments? And he turns away, he's looking away. He's scared. She's not only a warrior in her world, but she's proven that she's also a warrior in this world too, and that she will kill. That's not a question. So you have her go through her power her power craze, and she actually starts essentially 3D printing out a lot more efficient stuff so that she can scan and look for Eve Kim, because essentially that's just the goal, is to find Eve Kim, get the permanence code. But that's my thing. At that same time, it's like, where were you going to go from that with that, Athena? Because you just bitched the dude that helped you be able to get over here anyway. So if you're trying to get the permanence code, like, what are you trying to get it for? Are you trying to get the permanence code for him still, or are you just trying to get it for you? If you're trying to get it for you, are you gonna do world domination? Like, what's your end goal? What is your objective at the end of it? That's the one thing that kind of just had to fit. That kind of just made me feel like the movie was just kind of pieced together, just flinging little parts here. Bring this up. Sam Flynn's computer. Like, they just were throwing stuff to try to make somebody in that audience be like, you saw what I did? You saw what I did? Like, nah, it's not like that, bro. And then, so black and white, Ares ends up finding Sam Flynn. And Sam Flynn isn't really alive. He's just he's only showing up in this little bit right here. He's only showing up because in order for Ares to access the permanence code, there has to be the only way that he can access the permanence code is because it is like kind of like hidden in plain sight. So long story short, and really what Sam Flynn is doing this whole process is he's just gauging Ares, seeing what kind of program he would be, seeing what kind of thing, what did he stand for, like what matters to him. So that's really all Sam Flynn really was doing from my perspective. But at the end of it, Ares answers the right question, he says the right stuff, and Sam Flynn gives him the permanence code. So then when Ares shows back up in the real world, and that's where it just kind of draws back to Tron Legacy. And it only really, I feel like they don't really make any kind of like reconnections to Tron Legacy until like near the end of the movie. I just feel like that. Because in Tron Ares, when Ares comes back into the real world, he comes back into the real world in the same fashion that Sam Flynn's son in Tron Legacy came into the Tron world. It's like he said it's a back door. He said it's a back. Sam Flynn told Ares that it was like a back door. So that's where it just has a little small callback right there. Ares comes back to the real world. Him and Athena, there's a chase scene between Athena and Eve, but fast forward through that, because that's pretty much that's all it is. It's just a chase scene. But fast forward through that, then you have Athena running into like a standout between Athena and Ares. They have their little battle, and he just proves why he's still that motherfucker. He just proves why he's still that motherfucker and whatnot. And at the end of it, when it's wrapping up the movie, because, that's pretty much it. He wins, and then, Athena's like, she followed her objective. She followed the rules. She did what she had, what was requested of her. So it's like more so like, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I dying? Like, why is not only am I dying, but even the program that I would return to is going to be going offline. So even I won't exist at all no more. Like, so it's like, why? And it's like it kind of has like I see your point, but at the same time, it's like it was a means to an end. Like, but and this is just what I was saying as as far as like a callback, because where the movie like ties up and wraps up is that you have Eve, who pretty much is using the permanence code, using stuff, making more natural resources, food for people. Um, One of the first things that they made with the permanence code was an orange tree. So now that they're making, so when they're making the end titles, they're making like the end scene, and you see her at the top of this tall, really tall building, and you see all these orange trees, like all these orange trees and whatnot. So that's like just like a callback to the beginning of the movie. But then the callback to Tron Legacy is that, for the most part, what Ares is letting Eve know at the end of the movie is that he has to try to find out where his life, like what his life means now that he has this life. He's trying to figure out, because he's no longer a program. He doesn't have to work for anybody. So he's trying to figure out what it actually means to be an individual and to, just purely just go off yourself. So you see him in like some, I would assume, Hispanic territory. You see him, he is sitting at some like cafe, some little diner looking area. He gets on his motorcycle, but before he gets on his motorcycle, he's, still kind of like narrating the letter that he wrote to Eve to let her know that, hey, I'm still out here, I'm still alive, see you one day and whatnot. And it brings up a picture of, in the movie, there's a character, no, in the movie Tron Legacy, Sam Flynn's son runs into these beings that they were naturally, the game Tron was creating life itself. And she was one of the first, she was one of those beings. I don't know whether she was the first or not, but she was one of those beings. And so that's what made her so significant, because she wasn't a program. She wasn't somebody that entered and downloaded the game and is playing the game. She's literally life that formed from the game. But she made it to the real world with Sam Flynn's son. So at the end of Tron Ares, he shows a picture of Sam Flynn's son and her, like when they first left out of the Tron game. Like that looks like, what they look like. And then showed like maybe like another picture that looked like maybe aged up, that showed like maybe an aged up photo of her. So it just kind of brings back the Tron Legacy, like, okay, bet he's not the only, now granted he is a program, but it's the fact that they both come from computer CPU systems and now they're in the real world. So it's like he kind of is more so interested in her. I would assume so, that, he's kind of like interested in her and wants to maybe communicate, maybe see how life has been going for her. But all in all, I give the movie I'm sorry. I'll give the movie a 6.5, maybe 5.5. I say 5.5 to be truthful, because you love the visuals, love the idea, because essentially the way that they're bringing this world into the real world is like a 3D scanner. Love the dynamic dynamic of how the movie just goes. Oh, a part that I forgot, the Dillinger dude. When the program got shut down and it came to find out some of the stuff that he was doing, because he was doing a lot of shady shit, he actually put himself inside the CPU, the program that he was getting Ares and Athena from. So who knows? There's probably going to be another movie, whether they follow up with Ares or maybe with Sam Flynn's son, who knows? But they're probably going to be another movie, and it's going to be, and maybe they might have him as a main character, because now he's in that game. And at this point, he wouldn't have anybody that can bring him out. So he's just in the game, or in the CPU. So it's just the significance of that. But I mean, all in all, the visuals, I give it a 5.5. The visuals, Was dope. Never really saw like a water scene until Tron Ares, I don't think. So I mean, it was kind of cool. It was visually cool, but I just feel like the story. I feel like it was just kind of pieced together. I feel like they just, let's put this, add a new world, bright colors, new machines. Like they just, I feel like it was just too just, yeah. Because then even in the scene where, now granted that's in the game, so never mind. I'm not even gonna bring that up. But yeah, so it's like I feel like it could have been better. Honestly, I feel like it could have been better. I just feel like it could have been better for real, for real. But all in all, it's just me. Somebody probably could have seen that movie and been like, "This is my new jam. We gonna watch this again tomorrow." Like, but who knows? But like I said, follow, like, follow, comment, and let's grow this channel. And just until next time, just hit me up. Maybe you can think of like a movie you want me to check out. Probably a movie I've already seen. Even a movie I've already seen. Shit, you know what I mean? Let's grow. Peace.